Hey, it's Shannon.
And artists, and today we're going to talk about offering over asking and what that means to you as a buyer.
Stay tuned. And we're back. And yes, today we are going to talk about Shannon's going to mess up the video today. Redo.
It's a Friday, y'all. You normally do this on Thursday. So, just saying.
Start over.
3, 2.
And we're back. And yes, today we are going to talk about offering over asking price and what that means to you as a consumer, as a buyer, seller, that kind of thing. And we're seeing a lot of that right now in our market. The market is very, 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 very tight and competitive. There are so many more buyers than there are sellers. And what that means is to win in a multiple offer situation, we're seeing that buyers are having to actually offer more than what the actual sales price is. So, it might be listed for just round numbers $250, and we're seeing buyers come in at $260, $270, $20, $10 over asking price. So we just wanted to kind of talk about what happens in that situation for you as a buyer, because a lot of people don't understand what that truly means. And what happens is the property does have to appraise for the actual sales price. So if you've offered, 10, 20 over, the property has to appraise for that. If it doesn't, what that means to you as a consumer who's getting the loan is that you have to pay the difference of whatever it doesn't appraise for. So that shortage in the appraisal has to come out of your pocket on top of your down payment. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people just think, oh, I can just roll that into the loan. No, lenders are not in the business of going into negative equity. They can't have you going into it upside down. So they want to make sure that you are putting that money down on top of whatever your required down payment is for the home. Now, sometimes, yes, you can go back to the seller and maybe renegotiate, but if you've signed an appraisal waiver along with your contract that says that you're willing to pay X amount of dollars over the appraisal, you are bound by that contractually.
And there are some programs out there like VA where you basically sign a document saying that if the house doesn't appraise, you can walk away, free and clear, get your earnest money back, things of that nature. But like you said, when you sign that appraisal addendum, then that basically says that you're waiving your right to do that. So just so you know that is, you can't just kind of go back on your word after that. You're bound to that contract after that.
Mm-hmm. And we are seeing, so one of the things that I would recommend to you as a buyer to talk to your agent about when you're going into that situation is making sure that you're putting an actual amount on that appraisal waiver so that you're not stuck. Let's just say that in a crazy situation that the house appraises for $20,000 less than what the actual sales price is, and now all of a sudden you've got to bring this extra $20,000 to the table because you did this waiver. You need to make sure that you put an amount in there not to exceed. So like if you have the availability and the funds available and the willingness to pay, let's just say 5 over the appraised value when it comes in, you need to make sure that you are specifically stating how much extra that you are willing to pay over the appraised value should that happen, just as a protection to you. A lot of times we are seeing that the appraisals are coming in, and that's great, but in the off chance that it doesn't, you have to protect yourself in that kind of a situation to say exactly how much you're willing or able or capable of paying over that appraised value.
Mm-hmm. And also you need to talk that over with your lender as well, because there are certain situations where we have to show what's called reserves. We've talked about it before, but reserves are basically, just as a short recap, are additional funds that you have in either somewhere that you have somewhere. So in a bank somewhere. So
checking savings,
401k, TSP, something like that, where you have the funds where you have basically a portion or a certain amount of months of your mortgage payment in reserve. So if anything happens, God forbid you lose your job, get laid off, whatever, you have additional funds to be able to pay your mortgage while you're getting other income. So can't use those reserves to pay for your appraisal shortage. So again, talk that over with your lender. Make sure that whatever amount that you put in that addendum is still going to keep you be able to be qualified. The other thing I want to talk about is kind of the elephant in the room. So you say that you offered, $5, $10, $20,000 over asking price, and the appraisal does not come back, the appraisal doesn't come back with that value. So now you have negative equity, and in straight layman's terms, it means you are upside down. It means the value of your home is not as much as what you're paying for the home. And most lenders will make you sign a document that says that you understand that you go into this purchase with negative equity. That also means, though, that if down the road you sell before you've basically paid off your negative equity, you may end up having to pay to sell your home. So just kind of think forward just a little bit, just to make sure that you're putting yourself and your family in a good situation in the future, and you're not putting yourself in a hole, too much of a hole when it comes to, like I say, your future, because you may end up wanting to sell to upgrade your home, or to move to another location for a job opportunity, or whatever the case may be. So just again, keep that in mind, just so you don't put yourself and your family in a bind for the future.
Right. And in our market, typically values do tend to increase. The norm is about 4% per year. This year has been crazy. It's been much higher than that. But typically, the values do increase a little bit. So you will gain a little bit of equity typically, as years go on. But if, like Artis said, if you had to sell like in a year's time or 2 years' time, you may not have built enough equity to replace that, going into it less than the appraised value. So just be cautious. Talk to your agent about it before you make a decision like that. Talk to your lender. We want to give you the best advice that we can going into this situation, but we also want to help you win the offer. So, we will do everything that we can to make sure that we can help you win that offer and that your offer is the strongest, but we also want to make sure that you know what that means as you're making that offer, what that means to you as the buyer, and what that's going to do to you financially. So.
Yeah, by no means do we want to discourage you from going out and winning that offer, because at the end of the day, that's the home that you want. That is your home, so you want to make sure that you're going to be the one that buys it. We just want you to be knowledgeable, to be a knowledgeable buyer. So what questions do you have about offering over asking? We'd love to hear from you. You can always leave us a comment in the box below, or you can reach out to us by phone at 254-295-0905, by email at teamalexander@fairwaymc.com, or you can go to our website at www.alexandercares.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.